Okay, so as ever we have a bit of mission creep, and suddenly I've taken the heads off, and I took the heads off because I realised that there was a bit of oil seepage from both cylinder head gaskets. So I thought, right, well, it's easy to take the head off because there's no valves or anything to take off, so I might as well take them off. And obviously I've taken all the carb off and that anyway because I wanted to have the carb totally refurbished to make sure it was running as efficiently as possible. And all's okay, not too bad under there. You know, the side valve, I think you can see where it gets the name side valve from. Obviously burning a bit of oil on both, but you know, not too much, so that's okay. And then we've got the heads here. Just got two problems. Not really a problem. The first one is that indeed these are some kind of weird composite gasket, like a sandwich, thin metal sandwich, some sort of composite, and then metal the other side. But both of the gaskets have clearly failed in the same place. Yeah, same place on both gaskets, and as you can see, it's all crumpled. Yeah, on these gaskets, and where that is on both gaskets, that's where the exhaust comes in. So where it gets particularly hot, I'm thinking that's that can only, that's the sort of common factor. And obviously the gaskets have given way, so you know I definitely needed to change these head gaskets, and luckily through the owners club, I've managed to get someone, Trevor. Many thanks to Trevor, who had a spare pair of solid copper gaskets, cylinder head gaskets. I'll be putting those on. Yeah, so weird these things, but they obviously needed changing. The only possible kind of bad news is these cracks either side of the spark plug. See, there's a couple there on that one, and this one I haven't really cleaned it yet. And there's a couple here, and the possibility it carries on a bit further. I haven't cleaned it up yet. Okay, so there's small cracks on both sides, and obviously the actual spark plug thread seems to be a sort of an insert. It's like an original insert that on that nut. So it's not like I don't think it's like a helicoil. It seems to be that's like the original insert as was. So I'm not sure how bad, you know, whether these cracks need addressing. I really don't know. It's the same on both pistons, yeah, on both cylinder heads, yeah. So that's something to for me to consider. So that's the only really worrying thing. But we'll see. Okie doke. I'm just beginning to start putting the matches back together after taking bits off, mainly for chroming and so on. The one thing I've been able to do is to time the Magneto, hopefully correctly and hopefully accurately, because I've got the cylinder heads off, so I could measure the piston drop exactly. So the timing is on the rear cylinder, I'll just move this HG cable out of the way so we can see a bit better. And it's just before top dead center on the compression on the firing stroke on the rear cylinder. So so what you do is you turn the engine forwards until the piston is at top dead center, and then you turn it backwards until the piston is exactly 1/4 of an inch down the bore. Well, of course, the advantage is with since I've got the engine apart, since I've got the head off, I'm just going to check what I've got there. Yeah, then I've been able to measure that 1/4 inch exactly, and then with that piston on the compression stroke, 1/4 inch before top dead center. So you take it to top dead center and then turn it backwards. Then that's where to time it on full advance. So we've got both valves closed. It's on the, and we know it's on compression. One thing I did before, one silly thing, when I was timing it before, I assumed that the that valve was inlet and that valve's exhaust, because that's the way kind of it is on most bikes, with the carburettor at the back and the exhaust coming out the front. But of course, on these bikes, it's the other way round on this cylinder. So that's the exhaust valve and that's the inlet valve. And on this side, it's the other way round. So let's get this right. So that's the inlet valve and that's the exhaust valve. But on the rear cylinder that you time it on, I was watching, before I took the head off, I was watching the valves open and close to make sure I was on compression stroke. And I was doing it, it didn't make sense because I had it the wrong way around. Simple thing like that, because I was watching the wrong valve. So you need to make sure both valves are closed on the compression stroke, which is just after the inlet valve is closed and just before the exhaust valve opens. Right, so then the Magneto, which we had refurbished. Let's see, I probably just need to, I'm going to turn this back a tad more, because of course I've moved it now. Whoops, that's probably about it. Let's have a look. It's probably out now. Well, that'll do. So then I loosen the nut on the magnet, on the, I took the sprocket off here, so I could turn the Magneto separately. So then I've turned the Magneto till the points are just opening, and it says you want to use, there are two lumps, if you like, where the points open, one for the rear, one for the front, and it says to time it you use the bottom lump, if you like, which is this one, and you have it on full advanced, and you just want the points opening, okay, just with that 1/4 inch down, the point should be just opening on full advance. Now here's something that I'm a bit confused about, because the Magneto from this side, it goes clockwise, sort of backwards, the wheels and that go anti-clockwise as you go forwards, but the Magneto goes backwards. So I've just realised that I'm fairly sure, I am a bit confused, but the fully advanced is with the advance lever pulled open, and that fully retarded is with the lever sort of like closed. I only say that because I thought it was the other way around up until now. But I mean, looking at it and pulling that lever advances the ring, and so with it going clockwise, it hits there first when that's there, rather than, and then when you close this, I'll try it now. I'll close it and let's have a look. There, the ring goes backwards. So that is now retarded. And I thought it was the other way around. I thought that was fully advanced and that was fully retarded, but I think it is the other way around. And then what I've done is I've Tipexed it on the contact breakers, on the advanced and retard ring, and on the body of the Magneto, so I can check, whether it's any time if it's slipped or whatever, I guess. Okay, and then I've tightened everything up. I also found that some of the spacers, etc., holding the Magneto on weren't long enough, and so on, because I found the Magneto chain was getting loose very quickly, and basically the spaces in that weren't long enough. So when you tightened it up, it wasn't really clamping on anything. So the Magneto was moving, and when I took the case off before, the chain was really slack because it had slackened off. So hopefully I've lengthened. I bought some tubing on eBay, and I've some stainless tubing, and I've lengthened the tubes that hold the Magneto on, and so now I think when you clamp it shut, it should be tight. So I'm now hoping that is, that we are done. On the timing, I'll put the horn back on, which is mounted on the. This is the bolt. That is the sort of the tightening bolt. That's the main bolt that holds the Magneto casing on, and that's like the tightening bolt when it's been adjusted to the right tension on the chain. So I'm going to put that on now. Make sure the nut holding the sprocket on is properly tight, and hopefully we're timed in the right place.